Well, hi, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for filling out your sheets there for me. It'll be helpful when I start putting people in the cabins. Try to match up as well as I can, preferences and stuff like that. To get started today, we have new people that are new to LUM camp, so we're gonna go around and say what our name is. And we're going to, share how long you've been part of LUM and what experience. And then what do you hope to contribute to campers this year?
You want to start us, Marlena?
I can. I'm Marlena. I've done camp as a camper and volunteer as a counselor, and I've been a camp director since 2018, I think. And every year I hope that kids that come to camp get to just enjoy being a kid and can kind of not worry about anything else and just work on having fun and that be their whole focus. So I always want to make things as pleasant as possible and hope that they leave with pleasant memories about camp.
My name is Wes. I work here at LUM. I've been working at LUM since 2020, so this will be my 6th LUM camp as one of the leaders. I was a counselor a decade before that for a couple of years. So what I hope to contribute, I hope that not only the campers have a great time, I hope the counselors, all of you have a great time as well. You come away feeling like this was really a worthwhile experience and I want to do it again and bring more people. So. Go ahead, Malachi.
My name is Malachi. This is my first year doing this. I hope to contribute a good time for all the kids and like look at a positive impact that they have in life and to make new connections with people.
Great.
Hi, my name is Joe, and this is my 2nd year as a counselor. I've been connected with LUM for 4 or 5 years, partly as a volunteer, partly as a participant in the Hunger Hike and the Jubilee Christmas type of events. Last year, we had a good time. We had excellent weather. Hopefully, we will get that again. That really helps make camp a little bit easier, I think, for both the counselors and the campers. But don't count on it. You never know in Indiana. I'm hoping to help contribute to a fun camp and a safe camp for everybody. And just enjoy an outdoor environment that, by my thinking is, not many kids, have a chance to explore, an environment that's almost totally different than their normal day-to-day stuff. It's not like school. There's school type activities, but it's in an area where there's always an element of fun involved, so.
Thanks, Joe.
My name is Dennis Figueroa. This is my first year trying this out, and I'm hoping to contribute a safe, fun environment for the kids.
My name is TT. Well, it's really Tyona, but everybody, well, TT. It's crazy because I go by Ty, but everybody probably knows TT. I used to be a camper, obviously when I was younger, and I did volunteer. I think I was a junior counselor and a counselor years ago. I can't remember, probably before my kids were born, probably like 8, 9 years ago. I just loved it. I hope to contribute just to the children, just like the same experience that I had. Like, obviously, like I said, I was a camper and then I was a junior counselor, then I was a counselor, and so many years passed and like, I'm still excited to like go back. So I just hope that I get the same experience as a kid.
Hi, my name is Gail. I work here at LUM. This will be my 8th LUM camp. I worked here at LUM for 8.5 years. I've been at camp as an additional needs counselor. I'm a person who fills in wherever needed, whenever needed by either Wes or Marlena or the counselors. if there's a hiccup in your group where you need some additional help, maybe there's a camper who might need a little breather from the group. So I'll come and fill in. If you are going to take a break, and I know Marlena will talk about the rules and regulations of how many counselors need to be with the campers at all times, but I am one of the additional needs counselors who you would call in that instance. And what do I hope? I just hope that everyone does have a good time, that all of the campers are able to go home at the end of the week happy, educated, and looking forward to next year.
Hi, my name is Renata, and this is my first year as a camp counselor, and I hope to contribute to the kids and have a positive mindset for them, so we can all enjoy our time.
Thank you. Oh, hi, my name is Keisha. This is my 4th year doing LUM camp as a camp counselor. I was a junior counselor about 3 years ago. So for the last 2 years, I have been just a camp counselor.
What do you hope to contribute, Keisha? Yeah,
Well, I hope to contribute some of my knowledge, and I also hope to contribute a really great time for the kids in my cabin this year.
Hi, my name is Ariel, and this is my first year of being a counselor, and I hope to contribute a safe environment for the campers and the people around me.
My name is Deshaun. This is my first year as a camp counselor. I hope to contribute a fun and safe environment for the kids and the counselors.
awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Fun fact, Keyshawn and Deshawn were students of mine in Mayflower.
Oh, well, that's fun.
It was so
Yeah.
cute to see them in the Excellent. Well, today we're going to go through some, difficult things that kind of come up at camp, talk about how do we, problem solve certain things that come up between like counselors working as a team. We're going to practice some songs, some of our staple songs that we do every single year. You can get familiar with those. You'll hear them a lot the week of camp. We will talk a little bit about the mission of LUM Camp, like what we want the kids to get from it. We'll do some role plays so that we can practice ways that we can give feedback and receive feedback from other people. And we'll have a break in there. We'll talk a little bit about communication and conflict. And yeah, that'll be the most of what we do today. We'll answer any questions you have throughout the way too. But the first thing we're gonna do is what first day of camp's known for, a get to know you activity. So if you wanna put all your stuff underneath your seat. There are 1, 2, 3, 4,
3 seats.
Okay.
Yep. I got it. Thanks, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna play a game. Yeah, because you're gonna move here in just a minute. So I'm gonna stand in the middle. In this game, you start off with, I'm looking for all my friends. And I'm gonna say something that hopefully people in the room have in common. And if you are one of your friends, you have to stand up and you have to move to a different seat. It can't be the seat next to you. It has to be somewhere else in the room. We have one fewer chair, so whoever's left standing at the end has to be the next one to call out for all their friends. Sound good? Okay. Kiri, hi Kiri.
Hey, here, you wanna sit here?
If you want to set that down too, we're gonna move in just a minute. Okay, I'm gonna start with, so I'm looking for all my friends wearing sandals.
You're wearing sandals, you have to get up and switch seats. Oh, that was me. You singled her out.
I'm looking for my friends with blue shirts.
Let's count.
Yes.
So you gotta go steal their seat while they're moving.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have to move
Yeah,
too.
so.
Got it.
Quick, quick. She'll get stuck in the middle again.
Oh, okay, and then I got.
You got it, you got it.
Get it.
You
Okay,
get it.
I'm looking for my friends with tennis shoes on.
looking for my friends with pants on.
There's one chair.
I'm looking for all my friends that like sports.
I'm looking for all my friends that has on black.
Like myself.
I'm looking for all my friends with brown eyes.
I'm looking for all my friends who've ever traveled to the state of Virginia. Okay,
Then I'm looking for all my friends who have blue eyes.
Oh. I'm looking for my friends that have a tie-dye shirt on.
Bald head.
I'm looking for my friends that have Nike shoes on.
I'm looking for my friends who have ponytails.
I'm gonna count you as ponytails.
I'm looking for all my friends who have shorts on.
I'm looking for all my friends that's wearing polo.
I'm looking for all my friends that like summer better than winter.
Oh my gosh. All right, I'm looking for all my friends. This is their first year LUM camp. I'm looking for all my friends who enjoy swimming.
Looking for all my friends with long hair.
I could have passed.
I'm looking for all my friends who have black hair.
Same brown.
Looking for all my friends who have shoelaces.
That's everybody.
What's up, us? Don't have to sit there, that's the seat I
That was
left.
my original seat. That's the one next to me. Oh, sorry. I gotta play by the rules.
Yeah.
I'm looking for all my friends under 20.
One more.
Yes, I'm looking for all my friends over 20.
All right.
Excellent, let's go back to our original seats. Camp's always fun when there's lots of laughs going on. We got lots of get to know you activities that we play on the very first day. Kind of get all the kids in a good mood and be silly. There's some good laughs going on there. A lot of people trying to figure out what other people have in common. So that's just one of our get to know you activities. It's actually one I've never played before, but I loved it. We'll do some more of those on our training day, the week of camp. But let's go to Wes, talking about our LUM camp mission.
Just thinking more of what's our mission as LUM camp counselors? And I kind of throw that out there. What would you say? What's the purpose of being a LUM camp counselor?
Give the kids a fun time and safe environment,
Yeah,
make sure they don't get in trouble.
yeah. Very good.
Giving them the
Keep 'em safe.
experience, maybe they not used to.
Yeah, Yeah.
Keep giving back to the community a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
Stick with the program of the day.
Okay, It's good.
And stick with whatever adjustments have to be made, because,
Yeah,
things can change.
you can be ready for anything when you're dealing with kids. You have to be ready for anything.
That is very true. Yeah, you can predict that it's gonna be unpredictable.
Right.
Yep. A lot of you mentioned this. I kind of boil it down to two things, like safety and joy. And you guys, joy, fun, I feel like it's in the same category. But that's, when those two are working together, I feel like that's what we're supposed to be doing. I was playing with the mission statement, like the goal of a LUM camp counselor is to lead the camp counselors or the campers in my care with safety and joy. So they have a safe and joyful experience. What happens if it's all safety and no joy?
There's nothing.
There's no fun. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Swimming is dangerous. Going to the creek can be dangerous. Climbing a wall can be dangerous. Eating can be dangerous. Like, if 100% we're just focused on keeping the kids safe, we're just gonna basically have them sit probably on a mat in the grass, because the grass might be too dangerous. And, just, they'll sit there all week. No one's gonna have any fun. What happens if it's all joy and no safety?
Someone's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of accidents.
Yeah. Yeah, and they'll probably be the last LUM camp we ever have. We've got safety is number one, but closely behind it is the joy and the fun that we wanna have. So how do we be safe people? How do we encourage safety for our kids?
Following the rules.
Yeah, following the rules, leading by example.
Our awareness of what the kids are doing.
Yeah,
That's why we've got multiple counselors per cabin.
yes. And awareness of what the kids are doing, we'll talk more about this. This isn't just like calling the kid away from the cliff, because it's easy to see that he's in danger, but it's also the kid that just keeps punching the other kids with insults and bullying and those kind of things. So trying to keep eyes and ears on the emotional felt safety of the kids as well. What else? How do we encourage safety for the kids?
Communication with your campers.
Yeah.
From the moment that you meet them.
Yep. Communication with them. Making sure they're never alone, with another adult, or with their trying to wander off, we're keeping eyes on them. And we're just trying to preserve them, body, mind, and spirit when it comes to those kids. We just want their well-being. What about being a joyful counselor? What comes to mind? How do you be a fun, joyful, cheerful counselor?
Excited and like positive about things,
Yeah, Yep.
Encouraging.
yeah,
And sometimes you have to be silly.
yes, yeah,
Go down to their level.
that is true.
Yeah.
And being relatable,
Uh-huh.
building that bond with each child.
Yeah,
Understanding as well.
yeah, that's good.
I've always been jealous of those counselors that have like a bunch of energy like the kids do, and they know, like, it never goes away.
Yeah.
I've never been that person. So it's nice to be with people that are that, but to also like be that person that's a little more chill, that some of those kids will gravitate to just the chillness, because that's kind of what they are too. So relating to them in that sense, I think helps them to feel seen and feel connected to somebody in their cabin.
Yep, that's good.
And if counselors build a communication factor and a good relationship with their co-counselors, then there's that unity that the campers feel safe and secure with the 3 or 4 whoever's in their cabin.
If they know that you know what you're doing and you know how to figure out problems, then they trust you, they feel safe being with you. If it looks like nobody knows what in the world they're doing, kids feel that, they pick up on that, and it's gonna affect how safe they feel at camp as well.
True. So, yeah, thanks for thinking. I think many of you in the room, even if it's your first time here, you're kind of honed in on those two overlapping things. It's about keeping the kids safe, but also about bringing the joy and the fun. I think if we do both of those things, kids are gonna have a fantastic week. I think you'll have a fantastic week. So, speaking of the week, let's talk through a little bit of
Yeah.
what's a day in the life of camp, or what's the week look like a little bit.
So we've got an example of our schedule. I think I've talked to everybody here, maybe except Malachi, kind of about what camp looks like, and if you've been before, it's the same thing. It's been the same thing since I was a camper. That predictability, I think, helps everyone feel more confident when we're there, especially over and over again. But we do so many things the week of camp. There are things that kids have never done before that they're gonna experience. Sometimes it's new activities and challenges for them every day. So your days could look very different. Some kids are terrified of horses. They could be terrified of heights. So when that's what your activity has to do, you could have times where things are a little more challenging than they are fun, because you've got to be encouraging and you've got to help them kind of get through that rough time. But all week long, there are opportunities to build connection. There's opportunities for kids to be brave. There's opportunities for them to work well together as a team. There's just all of these little moments that kind of can make or break your week. And if we can make them positive, if we can work through problems as they come up in healthy ways, we're all gonna have a great time. We do activities throughout the whole week that are very camp focused. Our theme this year is water. We have a couple of educational pieces that are in there too. So the kids are getting a little bit of, they're gonna sit down and listen, and then a lot of, we're gonna run around and make noise and be outside and, splash around in the pool kind of stuff. So it's a very, very unique experience for them that we are kind of in charge of making sure it goes well.
Yeah, great. So we'll have Monday of camp week will be a training day. We meet here, we'll go out to lunch, we'll do training, have dinner out at camp, have a little bit of free time on Monday evening. And then Tuesday, we come all the way back, pick up the kids and start the week with the activities. So we have 2 days that are full, and that's Wednesday and Thursday. By Friday at noon, they have their meal and then they get on the buses and come home. Then we usually have another meal together as counselors and just kind of debrief from the week and think of how do we improve LUM camp for next time. So this is a typical day in the life on one of those full days where there's rise and shine, and we go silently to chapel, and then breakfast, and then you can see there's a rotation of activities, lunch, and then another rotation of activities, and then supper. And we usually do something special in the evening. And then by 9 o'clock, it's time for bed and lights out at 9:30. Couple of changes this year. We're gonna not have a movie night. We're working on some other fun stuff for that. We probably will do our s'mores, not on the first night, and on the last night. So we're still thinking about horses. Hanging Rock is not sure they can commit to horseback riding again. They've got a small herd of horses and an even smaller team of people that are able to manage it. So if we do it, great. I'd love to do it because we haven't done it the last couple of years. But if not, we've got a ton of water related activities that we can do. So
Yeah, but every
Yep.
day is set up exactly the same. So kids will get used to that rotation cycle that you've got going on. I've always thought, oh my gosh, how's it time to eat again? Because we eat, then there's 3 rotations, and 3 hours doesn't feel like a lot. And then you get together and you sing, and then it's been almost another hour. Then you do your rotations and it's time to eat again. Like it just keeps going. I feel like we're always eating. But for the kids, that predictability is great. They want to know what's coming next. Where, when are we going to do rock climbing? When are we going to get to go swimming? And all of it is very, very easy for you to see what you're doing for the week, which I think as a counselor is really nice to see. Kind of what to expect. Some days you might have a lot of outdoor activities, and some days you might have a lot of crafts going on. It's kind of nice to see what your day is going to look like, especially if you got kids that love crafts or kids that hate crafts. You might have to adjust a little bit to make sure that they stay engaged and encouraged as well. But it is a fine-tuned machine, for sure.
Marlena does a great job every year getting that together and thinking through a theme, thinking through how do we build into that theme. On Monday of training, we'll talk through the whole week. We'll do a tour of the camp, so you'll know exactly where everything is happening. But we wanted to give you upfront kind of, this is what you're getting yourself into kind of thing, and see what's planned.
Yeah, and that's example from last year, just so you know.
Yeah. Any immediate questions about that? Yes, Keyshawn.
Will we be doing canoes again this year?
It depends on the horses. Yep, if we do the horses, maybe not. If we do, it'll either be canoes or fishing.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yes, Malachi.
What age group are these?
So they're 8, 9, and 10-year-olds.
8 and 10, okay.
Yeah, and we try to group them. It never breaks down quite perfectly, but we try to have a cabin of each. So you would be assigned to 8, 9, or 10-year-old boys. And we will ask as well, and maybe it was on your sheet, I didn't look at your sheet, if there's a,
Counselor meeting.
okay, if there's a preference you have on what age group, we try to accommodate that as much.
10-year-olds the last several years. Right now, we have a lot of girls and not a lot of boys. So we might end up with 5 cabins of girls and 3 of boys, just depends on the last couple of spots we've got, who fills in for those.
You'll likely have 3 other counselors that are with you in that cabin. Plus Hanging Rock has some resident counselors that will also be assisting us this year for the first time. We'll talk more about that as well, but I think that would be an extra layer that will be helpful, especially at bedtime and mealtime. And they'll join us on the Monday of training for we'll get to know them as well.
Mhm.
All right, we move on.
Sure.
Ooh, a song.
Oh, this is yours.
Oh, this one's mine. All right. So we talked about how we're always eating, we're also singing before the meals. And usually we do a couple of silly songs, and I'm an introvert by nature, so silly takes like extra energy from me. When I feel like I'm really being silly, I look at myself like on a video, it's like, I'm about halfway to being animated, it's like, it really takes a lot of energy for me to get there, but we also do some prayer songs, and these are lighthearted, but have a serious message. This one is called God is Great. We don't see the tune of Rock Around the Clock. I don't think that it's just another tune. Maybe I'm
That's
wrong.
what it's got in the counselor book.
Okay. So it goes like this. If you know it, feel free to sing along. We usually do some snaps. It's God is great, God is good, and we thank him for our food. Thank him in the morning, noon and night. We're gonna thank our God for his out of sight. Amen. 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 I do a little jazz hand at the end, but so let's try it again. And often we'll teach the song, we'll sing it the same, but just to keep it interesting as the week goes on, we'll speed it up or slow it down or insert everything. We'll just sing it the same this time. So God is great, God is good, and we thank him for our food. We're gonna thank him in the morning, noon and night. We're gonna thank you, Lord, for your out of sight. Amen. Amen. It's a little different than what happened there. That's it. And then we dismiss the kids, usually 2 cabins at a time on into the meal. So, yeah,
Do we need to learn this by memory or we're gonna read it from something?
we'll have it in your counselor handbook,
Okay.
and well, the kids won't have anything.
Right.
So, yeah. And I'll usually be leading the songs. Marlene will be leading songs. We might have a couple other counselors. For the most part, you're just following along. So
Mhm.
no, you don't have to commit it to memory. There'll be no test. It'll just be You just be learning it with the kids and singing it, so.
Yeah,
Pretty
our
fun.
people that have been to camp before, they're the same kind of songs. Sometimes we learn a new one, but by the second day, you'll have it all down.
Yep. Great.
All right, we're gonna do another game.
Oh, that sounds fun.
This one is to kind of talk about our differences. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have Ty move your chair. And we're going to separate the room this side and this side. We're gonna have some words pop up on the screen and you're gonna move to whatever side best fits you. Our first one, that side if you're a night owl, this side if you're a morning person.
Got a family of night owls over here. What about you? Night owl, all right.
Nice, nice, excellent. All right, our next one. When it comes to shared spaces, do you tidy daily or do you like organized chaos?
These are our
It's
tiny
not
ones
real.
over here, or these are chaotic.
This is
That's the
freaking
tiny.
chaos.
Oh, all right, very good.
All right, next.
Oh, I messed that up.
That's okay.
Yep.
All right, loud alarm clocks. Yes, that's what you do, or you will jump out of your skin if that's what goes off in the morning.
Do you like a loud alarm clock? Yes?
Or no. Well, look at that. I'm surprised by that one. I thought more people would jump on this side.
Right in the middle.
All right, when it comes to planning, do you meticulously follow your schedule or are you pretty flexible?
This is flexible,
Mhm.
meticulous.
I have learned.
Flexibility is always great to have at camp, but some people, they like to stick to exactly what's on that paper.
It's okay, we was an hour late last year. I
Yeah.
still don't know where the hour went.
All right, unexpected changes. Something that's gonna cause you to pull out your hair, not a problem.
Not a problem. Pull out your hair. Unexpected
Facial
changes. That's what happened to me. Pull out my hair.
No problem.
All right,
Oh, nice. We're real flexible.
that's great. We'll take it.
All right, energy level. Do you start strong in the morning and then fade, or are you pretty consistent?
This is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Start strong in the morning and then fade. I should probably participate in this.
I'm glad y'all are on that side.
This is
All right.
the start from on that plan.
Yes, start strong.
All right.
All right, when it comes to divvying up less appealing tasks, like somebody wet the bed, so their bedding needs to be taken care of. Somebody got a toothbrush, so you gotta go grab a toothbrush. Are you one of the nose goes, you don't want to be the one to volunteer to go do it? Or are you the one that's like, I got this?
Oh, man, it really depends on the task. Let's say it's a wet bed.
Wet
You
bed.
have to take care of the wet bed clothes, like you volunteer as tribute, or I'd rather have somebody else deal with it.
I always get it though. Right in the middle.
My wife assigns me a cat box at home.
But I have that duty too. Yeah.
All right, how would you respond to toothbrushes left out on the sink? There's a towel left in the shower and there's a wet sock in the middle of the floor.
You're angry over here, who cares over there?
I love how many wet socks we end up with. Okay, yes.
And there's only one of them usually.
Yep, there's no match.
Well, then I'll be right in the middle.
All right, how do you communicate your needs, like to other people? Are you straightforward? Do you tell them how you feel and you're really open about it? Or do you just kind of deny that there's nothing you need, you're fine, and you just keep moving on? In the middle?
Is this camp?
This is, you can think it in terms of camp if you want. But if something's bothering you, are you just gonna put it out there, or are you just gonna keep going and hope that it falls off and doesn't?
Depends on the
Have a
level
lasting
of
impact.
consequence. I mean,
It's true. All right.
All right, so you can have, well, we'll stand for this one.
Oh, okay.
But that
Yeah.
little activity just kind of shows all of us bring something different to the table. When we get more people, all of our other counselors together, it'll be massive differences between back and forth. So we're going to be working with people that aren't like us, people that prefer things that are different than us, people that communicate very differently than we do. So it's important that we keep those in mind as we go through camp, because we're gonna have little things that pop up, that we gotta make sure that we're accommodating to other people and hope that they'll be accommodating to us as well.
Great. So why don't you go back, stand in front of your chair. And now we're gonna pretend we're gathered for a meal. And I'm gonna lead us in a song. Not a song I usually lead because we have one counselor in particular who won't be there this year. That usually leads this song. So I'll give it my best shot, but all right. This is a repeat after me song.
This is a repeat after me song.
This is a do as I do song.
This is a do as I do song.
I said a boom, chicka boom.
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 I said a boom, chicka rock. chicka rocka, chicka boom.
I said a boom, chicka, chicka, rocka,
Chicka boom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One more time.
One more time.
Snooty English style.
Snooty English style.
I said a boom, chicka boom.
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 I said a boom, chicka rocka, chicka boom.
I said a boom, chicka, rocka, chicka, rocka, chicka boom.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
One more time.
One more time.
Cowboy style.
Cowboy style.
I said a boom, chicka boom.
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 I said a yeah. Boom, chicka rock, chicka boom. That's probably enough. So there are limitless possibilities with this song. Marlena was telling me that she was looking up some more that we've never done before, like there's a janitor one. What's a janitor one?
The
She said
janitor one
that's
is
like a boom.
broom, push a broom. I said a broom, push a broom.
Okay. Yeah, so
Broom, push a moppa, push a moppa, push a broom. That one I have to think about before I say it.
yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff. And then sometimes once the kids get into it a little more, probably the second time we do the song, it's like, okay, what suggestions do you have? And if they're appropriate suggestions, we try to implement it. You just make it up. I mean, it's like you said, Dennis, it's just, it's silly, having fun with it. So if you guys have any ideas as you're thinking about this over the next month, hey, I wanna try this style, whatever. Let's give it a shot. We'll make it up. It'll be fun.
High Energy is the best person to do this song.
Mhm.
April's got that. She can always get everybody up and going. So I'm hoping we'll find a counselor that'll love leading that song because I also am more introverted.
Yeah.
But it's a fun song. The kids love it. They really get up and they stand up with us and do everything together. It can get kind of loud too. But it's a fun one.
Yep.
It's better that it's outside with all the energy than going to dinner
Yes.
or lunch or breakfast. No, we don't do it at breakfast so much.
No,
No.
breakfast we go in quietly, but yeah, lunch and dinner we'll do the loud songs and stuff. So, yeah. All right, you can have a seat. Thanks.
All right, the next thing we're gonna talk about, we're gonna get into some of the nitty gritty, getting people kind of stuff. So Wes and I were invited out to Camp Tecumseh to see one of their speakers that comes in, talks to their counselors. And there's something that he presented that I'm like, we've got to take this with us. It simplifies helping kids solve problems. He calls it feel, then deal. Usually when you have kids that something happens to them that can be upsetting or disappointing, feels like it's not fair, they're gonna respond and they're gonna respond impulsively because they are children. And a lot of the times they don't respond appropriately. That can be calling somebody a name, that could be, pouting or ignoring, or, there's a number of things that can happen that they'll do that we want them to kind of learn how to do it better. So when we see a kiddo that's having a hard time, there's a problem that came up. The problem could be whatever their response was to the change. We want to help walk them through how to problem solve. So we're going to use feel, then deal with talking to a kid after a situation has happened. We can ask them to identify what are those feelings that you had when this happened. For some kids, if they didn't get a third time going up the climbing wall, like they're going to lose their mind and then they're going to be mad for like 2 hours. It could be somebody was mean to them, said something mean to them, so they said something mean back. We're going to talk about what did you feel when that person did that? What did you feel when we ran out of chicken tenders at lunch? Those little things that can happen are good opportunities for us to help kids practice using really good problem solving skills. So feel and deal, if you go to the next slide, there's 2 goals to it. We want to get the problem solved, which is what a lot of people think they're doing without practicing a better way of ending a decision. But the second part is the most important, is that we're using that as an opportunity to walk the kids through positive problem solving. So they are practicing good problem solving skills, not just being told that was a poor choice, here's your consequence. It doesn't give them an opportunity to do differently. So when we're at camp, we're gonna talk a lot on Monday about kids' behavior and how we address that at camp. When do we give consequences? When do we not give consequences? So feel and deal is gonna come up again when we talk to kids, but it's also gonna come up today when we talk about how do we address issues with each other. We want the same thing with us. Co-counselor does something that is irritating to you or doesn't feel appropriate to you, we've got to be able to problem solve appropriately as well. So we'll be using feel and deal as well. So basically, if you go to the next one.
Mhm.
When a kid does something, we want to come at them with a calm approach. They might be escalated in the moment. We want to be calm and help them de-escalate, because when they are upset about something, they are not using the part of their brain that's going to come up with good ideas. They're not using the rational part of their brain. They have been offended, they feel attacked, they're using a base part of their brain that's like survival mode. We don't want them in survival mode at camp because we're all safe, we're all doing great things. But when bad things happen, we need to be able to bring the calm to them. So we can't be worked up trying to calm down a worked up camper. So if we're gonna bring the calm to them, we're gonna help them regulate, and we're gonna discuss, this just happened. This is how you said you feel about it. What are other things that we could have done? And you can sit and kind of problem solve with the kiddo. They might not know, they might not have any ideas, and you can come up with your own options. But what if we did this? And you can walk through. So this happened. What if you responded this way? How would you feel right now? Would you feel the same? Would you feel different? Just talking about the different options that they have sometimes can calm them down enough that they will be able to move on. Some kids, you will stick on something and they'll not come off of it. If you can walk through some of those options, and some of them real smart and can come up with their own, they've already got the answer in case it comes next time. They just need help slowing down the process and thinking about it. So we bring the calm approach, we discuss with them, and then we decide, okay, next time, if this happens, this is what you're gonna try to do. So that means next time that kiddo starts to be upset, you can prompt them, hey, remember that conversation we had? But the last time somebody called you a mean name, how do you want to respond this time? It can cause them to pause and actually think about how they want to respond, which is great problem solving. It is what we want them to do. It is not usually what comes naturally to anybody. We have to practice calming ourselves down. We have to practice the right way to respond, when people say or do things that are offensive or don't feel fair. And we want to celebrate them doing it. So even if they do a little role play with you, if they can walk through and say, well, I think I should have said da, 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 da. Celebrate that. Give them a round of applause. Tell them that was great. You came up with that idea all on your own. Like, give it back to them, let them have it. It's amazing for them to be able to hold on to that. And it's really encouraging to hear it from somebody that they look up to, that they were able to solve a problem. Yeah, the real problem already happened, but they were just able to walk through that with you, and they deserve to be celebrated for that. So the same thing is true when we're talking about working with our counselors. You wanna go on the next one? And make sure I'm not skipping anything. Okay, so co-counselors, we have to work together as a team. Like you said, we need to ensure safety. We want a positive culture in our cabin. There are lots of opportunities for that to completely fall apart. So we have to be mindful of what's happening in our cabin between our campers, but also between us counselors. If there is tension between you and a co-counselor, kids can pick that up. Kids are very intuitive, especially kids that have experienced trauma. They pick up and are constantly scanning. What is everyone feeling right now? Am I in danger? Is there somebody that's mad right now? Their kids that experience trauma are going to pick up on even the slightest little thing that you might have, if there's an issue going on between you and your counselors. So just like we got up and we moved from one side to the other, we saw those differences. We all have different preferences. For us to get through the week, it would be like 100% would look different from person to person. So we have to be prepared on what do we do when things don't feel right? What do we do when there's a clash? between counselors that the kids are definitely noticing. You know, how do we solve those problems? We talk about additional needs counselors. We have Gail and Trisha that can help when we got a camper issue. But what about those little things that come up? Some people will, as I said before, if you have a need, will ignore it. They'll just wait for it to pass. Some people will sit on that and will build resentment that's gonna come out in the way that they talk and treat you or other people at camp. So we wanna make sure that we know how to address that so it doesn't get out of hand. It doesn't impact how close our campers feel to each other or how close our campers feel we are with each other too. Because all of that impacts whether or not they're gonna have a good time. These kids will split into teams faster than you can blink. If they think that that person was right and that person was wrong, easily you got a separated cabin there and we got to work on fixing that damaged connection that was there. They pick up on the slightest of things and they hear everything. So if you're complaining to somebody else about something a co-counselor did, a child is gonna hear. And then they can turn it into whatever they want when they go and share it with other people too. So we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different personalities. We all have different communication styles and expectations of what we think our co-counselors should and should not do. So when we talk about communication, we want to lead by example. So if we're going through this feel and then deal with our kiddos, they need to see us solving problems in the same way. So what that looks like can be very intimidating to young adults, teenagers, and even adults that are used to communicating one way and it gets them where they need to be. It might not work at camp with the different personalities that you've got in your cabin. So here's just some examples of things that we can say. Kids say the wrong things and their feelings get hurt. Your feelings might get hurt by something that a counselor says. And from experience at camp, it could be something super small, or it could be something that's like, yeah, we probably shouldn't have done that. For example, it could be that somebody unintentionally made a decision with the other co-counselors while you were on your break. And when you get back and find out that that decision has already been made and you don't agree that it was the best decision, you might have negative feelings about that. So what do you do with those negative feelings? Some people can let it go. Not everybody can. So how do we appropriately handle that? One option is that you can tell your co-counselors, hey, has something bothering me right now? I need to take a moment. Is that okay? And just walk away for a few minutes. It's a good time to talk with yourself. Is this something I can ignore and move on from? Is it something, did they agree to do something that's not safe? Because if it's safe, it's just another option. It's okay to do things. Other people's ideas are fine. We might just have to walk ourselves through that conversation until our resentment kind of cools off, and then we can return and not feel slighted by our counselors deciding something without us. Another thing is you can ask what happened. Like you can go up to your counselors and say, you know, can we talk more about what happened when, use the example of when you were gone. Can we talk about what you guys decided when I wasn't here? So that is an opportunity to use I statements. You guys heard of those before? I feel like everybody hears about I statements, but we don't use them very often. It's okay to say, I felt hurt when you made decisions without my input. It's okay to say that as a polite way of saying, I don't like what you did and it hurt my feelings. But it's a nicer way of saying that. It's not confrontational. And if I'm coming to you to say, Malachi, you know, my feelings were hurt when you guys made that decision without me, it's not saying you made a poor choice and I'm mad at you. It's just opening up the conversation so we can talk about what went into that decision. What did they talk about that maybe I wasn't there for? Are we gonna wait until everybody's back from break to make decisions? Because that's not always possible at camp. Sometimes you gotta make decisions while one person's heading to break and somebody coming off of break, where those things are going to happen. And so if you're in a cabin with other counselors, these are things that you can say to them, but you also have to remember they're gonna come say that to you. You might be the one that they come to say, can you tell me, you know, what went into that decision? Because my feelings are hurt right now and I need to, you know, process that. I want to move past it, but it's really bothering me, you know, that open communication. So you can have a conversation about it. Some other things, if you feel like there's something that has created tension, but you don't know what it is, maybe it was you, maybe it was somebody else, maybe there's tension between two other counselors and you don't know what it is in your cabin, you can always just say, you know, I feel like there's something that happened that's causing tension. Can we just take a moment to talk about what that might be? Did I do something? Did I say something? You know, if your kids are doing a craft and they're off with Nancy, you know, watercolor painting, it's a good opportunity to step away a little bit and have that conversation. Did something happen? Like, it's easier to clear the air than to continue to walk on eggshells for the rest of our time at camp. The kids will pick up on that. Especially if, like, I have an issue with Deshaun and we're in this cabin together and I've got, you know, my friend that was here last year and he's got Keyshawn with him, and like, I'm not standing next to him, I'm not making eye contact with him, you know, that's not helpful, but the kids will notice that. And if kids really like Keyshawn and Deshaun, they're gonna pick a side. They really like me and my co-counselor, they're gonna pick my side. And then we've got a split cabin where everybody's not getting along, just because the kids could pick up on body language and facial expressions. There are little things that we do that we have to be mindful of when we're around children and other people. If somebody says something and you think it was stupid, you can't roll your eyes, because they're gonna see it and they're gonna know, oh, he didn't agree with that one. Or they pick up on the smallest things. And if you've got a camper that, like, you are their person, they're gonna notice that. And if they notice it and nobody else did, they're gonna say something to somebody else and they're all gonna find out about it. So those little things that we do when we're upset about things, we've got to be sure that we're aware that we're doing them, or be open to somebody coming and saying, hey, it looks like you're mad about something. Can we talk about what might be going on? Like, we need to model problem solving with the kiddos as well. We need to deal with our emotions in a way that is healthy and helpful. Rolling your eyes isn't helpful. I sometimes do it and don't know that I do it, but it's something we have to keep in mind, because you're gonna see kids roll their eyes all week. They're all gonna roll their eyes, they're all gonna pout, you know, we're gonna see a lot of this. And that's okay, they're expressing themselves, you know, in that way, but we want to show them how to deal with things that are bothering us in a good way. Think about if you are going up to somebody in your cabin because you want to address something, think about, what do you want to get out of that conversation? Are you wanting to talk about it because you need your feelings to be heard? As long as they know what your thoughts are, you're okay with that. Great conversation to have, and you can let them know. I just want to make sure that you're aware of how I feel about this situation, and just leave it at that. You can say, if you want more information about a decision that was made, I just want to better understand why you guys chose to do this instead of this. There's sometimes just stupid little decisions that come up that it's like, okay, we can choose between going to the creek, or we can choose to spend the next hour in our room, you know, chilling, listening to a book, listen to music or whatever. Star counselor advice, don't ever let the kids vote. Don't ever ask them, who wants to go to the creek, who wants to go to the cabin? Because it's 50-50. You just put yourself in a terrible situation, because you're gonna make half of the cabin unhappy no matter what you do. So that's something you can decide with your counselors. So you can talk about, you know, when you guys were deciding how, you know, which one to do, how did you come to that decision? It could be that they're a new counselor and they did say, okay, who wants to go to the creek? And you can talk about how, yeah, I've got roped into that a couple times myself. Here's what I would do next time. Or sometimes they just have a better idea and it's like, oh, I wouldn't have even thought about that. You're just getting information, and sometimes that's all we need to feel better about something that happened. You can also say you just need help moving past it. We've got some people that come to campus counselors that are like mental health professionals in their jobs. Like, I'm one of them. You're more than welcome to come talk to me. Like, something's bothering me and I need to move past it and I need help on how to do that. Your co-counselors might be like, okay, let's talk about that. But if it's still bothering you, we've got lots of people that you can talk to at camp that can help you with that. So I don't want you to sit on something all week long and be miserable. You're probably not going to want to come back to be a counselor again if you are walking on eggshells all week or feel like you can't say your opinion or feel like your voice matters at all in your cabin. You can also just say, you know, there's a lot of tension here and I really want to remove it. If I can feel it, the kids can feel it. You know, so think about if you're gonna go up to somebody and address a situation like that, what do you want to get out of it? If you don't know, you probably need to think about it a little bit longer. Or possibly ask to talk to an additional needs counselor or me or Wes, so we can help you figure out what to do with it. We don't want issues to blow up into something that's bigger. So if you go into, you know, I want to talk to you about this and it ends up with you arguing back and forth, that's not helpful to anybody. And that is not showing kids positive, helpful ways to solve problems either. So we've got to be very intentional. We're going to sit down and talk to them about how they feel and how do you want to choose to do this next time. We have to be intentional about how we address issues that come up between us as well. Does that make sense? Okay, I feel like I'm talking a lot.
If I heard you right, I should go directly to the person I have a conflict with.
Yes.
And if I don't feel I can, then I should probably go to one of the special needs counselors or you or me. But going to the other counselors and complaining about the conflict or
Not
God
gonna be
forbid,
helpful.
the campers, that's not gonna be helpful. So,
No, if
Yeah.
you're at the pool and you're talking about how, you know, she stayed out, you know, late last night, didn't come back until 12:30, and I'm gonna tell Marlena on her, and, you know, kids are gonna hear that, and then they're gonna start talking about it, and then it's just gonna make its way around the whole camp. And then that person who took way too long getting back to the cabin is gonna hear about it from somebody else. That should never happen. If you are upset that somebody's taking too long on their break, or that they didn't come back to the cabin when they were supposed to, we should address that directly with that person. It's the best way to do it, and there are polite ways to bring it up. But we have to think about how we're gonna have that conversation, what do we want out of it first? Otherwise, it will go terribly. And I don't want it to bring down the morale in your cabin or the morale in all of our counselors when we see these little tiffs that kind of spiral out of control over the smallest little thing. But yeah, addressing it with your cabin is the best. Talking about it in the counselor lounge with other counselors is not going to solve any problem. Talking on the phone to your mom about it is not gonna solve any problems. Someone's gonna hear you and it's gonna make its way around. It's best to either, if it's something you can get rid of, you can just move past it, that's great. If it's not, we've gotta have some difficult conversations, and we got people here that can help facilitate that if needed.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I've been looking at this little slide that's next for like the last 15 minutes. Boom.
Right. And are there ever situations where it's okay to have that discussion in the presence of the kids? Or do we need to be very careful about judging when it may be feasible to do that and when it absolutely is not? How would you
So we have,
judge something like that?
in our handbook, we have ways that you can talk in your cabin if an issue pops up. I would say that not necessarily meant to be for issues within counselors. I think that should be more private and away from the kiddos. You know, we can't just walk away and leave them somewhere.
Right, so it's sort of by default, you've
Right.
gotta pick your time, yeah.
And you're gonna have an audience from time to time, but if everyone's respectfully, you know, intentionally responding and not taking things personally, you could have that conversation in a group away from everybody else and it still be successful. We don't want the nagging, oh, there she is again, or, you know, oh, those two are together again, all the campers think they're dating. That stuff doesn't help anybody. And the kids hear it, other counselors hear it, so we don't want that kind of thing happening, even if you're pulling yourself away from the campers, that's not gonna work. They're gonna notice your body language, your facial expressions. They know that's not a problem getting solved. That's somebody complaining about something else. And if you're not comfortable, if like just personally, you're not a confrontational person and don't know how to address it, or if you know you're a confrontational person and you want to address something, but you don't want to be confrontational about it, we've got people here you can talk to.
Yeah.
I have no problem talking to someone and like walking through that. Well, what do you want to say to them? Well, what's a better way we could say that and practice before you actually bring it up with your team? We want everybody to work together, but not everybody's got the skills to do that automatically. Sometimes we need to give grace to people. And it's okay to say, hey, you know, Gail, I think Dennis is upset with me about something and I don't really know how to approach him about it. Can you help me with that? She can mediate between Dennis and I. And if Dennis doesn't take it personally, it's probably just a miscommunication. Most things are just miscommunication. And if he's in a bad mood and I think that he's mad at me, like I'm taking that personally. I don't need to take it personally. And he could just say, I've been in a bad mood all day. You know, I'm sorry if it came across that way, but you haven't done anything,
Yeah.
you know, that has upset me or anything like that. You know, those conversations, we don't have enough, but it can be very helpful with getting through the week with everybody enjoying their time together.
You know, and a lot of times it could just be a facial expression that you have on your face and you looked at another counselor, a co-counselor, but your facial expression was something you were thinking a personal thing, and it just came across as, ooh, what did I do? What did I say? So it's just
Mhm.
one of those simple things.
It's true, that happens all the time. Let's take a 10-minute break.
Yep.
There are restrooms that way. There's restrooms this way, to each direction. There's refreshments here. But yeah, let's gather in 10 minutes.
There, I felt one of my little headband, my little ponytails pop.
They weren't. Anybody want a donut? Or a little red velvet cupcake? Cookie or carrots? What do you want? Cheetos. I tried to get something savory, something sweet, and something, if anybody really wants to have, be healthy, and. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, I'll get you the garbage.
Okay, trash.
We can just use this little guy. I don't think
Okay.
there's that much of a big scale. But- I don't know. All right. There you go. All right. Anything else? No, great, thank you. Oh, yeah. That's not it.
Then. But that.
You call it forward. That's far back.
Right, you'll pull that, and they turn an RDL with you, I need this.
Yeah, but what's going on over there? So I fly my foot out, broke my coffee and eating. What is it? Hey, Sean, thanks for recruiting, bringing,
Yeah.
quadrupled yourself this year, it's great, you know.
I'm gonna stay myself.
You're irreplaceable. Yeah.
I don't know what these other ones are. We can think of some.
I have to read that.
Sorry, y'all, Renata, how old are you?
16.
All right. Very good. Thank you for stepping up. Yeah, I hope it is.
Okay, got it.
That's right.
You're
Money, you really want food?
It's Saturday, 12 years old. That's not it. I feel like at that point, you're 6 or 7 and 12 years old, and they've been that journey, but
Yeah, I think so.
ever since like 8 years.
Regular rubber band.
So, Ty or Gigi, that's about it?
No.
Okay. Do you have a couple of kids?
I do.
How old are your kids?
My son is 7 and my daughter is 9.
Okay, great. Yeah.
He was a counselor last, or I can't remember last year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't even remember everybody.
I don't remember everybody. I remember that name. I'm sorry. Yeah. Note to self, don't buy another, veggie tray that has broccoli in it, stink up the whole room.
Sisters, you know.
I go by time, but I've also been known.
Okay.
Before I was, I don't know.
It's fine, but I have a sister, and her names are very similar. So it was Keith and Belle, and they came.
Mine
Oh.
too.
So that's what everybody always calls her. My mom, did your mom go back into it still? Yeah. Okay. Okay. I wasn't sure, because everything that comes through the Angela.
Yeah, she goes to Angel, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, we've had, the year that, there were a couple years that there was a bunch of us that had been campers before, that were all coming at the same time.
Yeah.
Kirby was there.
Yeah.
Kirby's like this big, but a teddy bear, super sweet. He doesn't come to camp anymore, because he's like an over the road trucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's. But.
I think I've heard some Kirby stories.
Oh, I've seen it, yeah. This isn't the place.
Now you're bringing a lot of experience with you. A lot of history.
Yeah.
How you been?
Yeah.
Pretty good. How about you?
Okay.
No, I think you're
Fine.
camp for a long
Keep it ready.
time. Then you'll-
I don't know, I didn't see his name on the list.
Yes,
So I don't know.
know.
I presume not.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, that's great. That's doing obviously, and that's lined up before.
I've been doing it like
Sauce.
I'm trying to do one every day. I traded, because not last year, but the year before, I got pretty sick.
Oh, no,
All day,
take it.
and just like the whole morning and just have a
Yeah,
drink
yeah.
so much.
Yeah, we all wanna
And
check
you
it.
just got overeaten.
That's like mine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're not, I mean, they're not tiny kids.
Right.
And you're just like.
Eight, nine.
I also take medicine that doesn't interact well,
Yeah.
which is a little more sensitive to the heat.
And these sorrows, you know.
I think that's what I was prepared for last year.
Yeah.
But this year, the hormones have changed, and now I feel like I'm cold all the time, so I
Okay.
think I'll be
I
fine.
dose off.
My sister's like, you gotta keep track of that, though, you'll just pass out because you don't know you're overeating.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not been an issue, I've been cold now. I'll take it. And everybody's
So, we have, more that are coming. The original founding member.
But I never heard you.
Yeah, it's great.
What about
Wait,
you?
bro.
Yeah.
I'm just always trying to get only person really do on my phone and stuff.
Okay.
They're hard. That's can you come over?
I saw, I looked at your Facebook.
Yeah.
You still do that stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
No, Taylor does.
Yeah.
Oh, Taylor does, okay, yeah.
They're
Well,
all-
she started doing.
That's always a problem.
It's intimidating. Yeah, what's on fun now? She loved it. One of my best friends, she did gymnastics when she was in high school. So she put her kids in like early gymnastics at like 3, and then dance. They just kind of been trying to look at it. She's like, I think they're all gonna end up dancers. All of them. Taylor started.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know, but it's pretty. But I like the dance costumes better than like the little kid cheer costumes, when they're like itty bitties. It reminds me of like people that. put
No
on their
offense, no
bikinis when they're like.
What
itty
sounds like
bitties.
an old man?
They're-
Dance is not that bad.
Dennis.
No, the ones my friends have showed me.
Aye.
Let me show you how appropriate for her kid.
Yeah.
When I was on the dance team back in high school.
Yeah, ours was, yeah,
They were
yeah, ours
really-
was- yeah, I definitely remember ours. But,
I see some kind of like my TikTok of like professional, not professional, but like top tier. And I don't know how they did some of the things that they were.
yeah, Taylor is, it's just a competitive.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, okay.
And she had some flexible ones, you know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, we can probably leave that.
yeah, it is easy, a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said, a little t-shirt.
There was a mom on TikTok pulling up little baby bathing suits, they were one piece each. Like, cut out.
No.
And the bathing suits, they don't have that curve. When you saw it.
Yeah.
That was like a solo concert. I didn't realize.
No, I feel like I can. Oh. Do they like it?
No.
Yeah, I heard so.
Place first.
Oh my goodness.
Out of 15.
Sounds like
he placed first.
That's
I
awesome.
have much siblings too.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were my cousin, weren't you? The teaching, coaching dance.
No, I don't.
I
Yeah.
don't have a lot. A couple of them that come from like, more like. high class,
They're
but
close over the
kids
donut,
in,
but
like,
not predicted that.
pretty dance stuff. But a lot of our girls don't get to dance or anything until like fourth or fifth grade with like the little map.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. So I feel like
I
they're
in the school program.
and they're kind of behind.
No electronics at all. Yeah.
Well, some of the ones that start really young like that.
Yeah, what do you want?
You start those.
What do you want?
That's good. Before everybody else.
I can go
can.
see if there is any.
I ended up looking, I'm like, how do you do, I said, those, and she was like, oh,
Oh, sorry.
now that they're getting, they grow it, and she got to six,
I just came grabbing.
and the other ones are younger, when they hit like 5, she's making them take gymnastics or dance.
Yeah.
Because she can't afford, she gets schedule wise, she can do both, because she would never get home in the evening, and they're, each one is just expensive, and she's got.
Can you slide it back on my plate?
How old are you?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
16, all right. Be a junior next year? Where at? I have a daughter who's.
Bro. No,
This is.
she told us not to do that.
What happened?
Well, you did, you already.
Nobody did them.
No one was doing them. Woke up, saw they was undone and said, you got a week of hardware. Wait, we, she said two.
No, she said a week. She said a week. She said a week.
And if you need to do a hard break, do it. Whatever you think you're doing.
When she break the other, she said, you're trying to, you gotta do the.
Got the one you wanted? Oh, yeah.
No, but you get to the car, she, from the dash, she said.
The regular crunchy hard.
Lucky.
Yep. If you're not done with your paper about yourself, go ahead and finish that up for me if you don't mind. I'm gonna take it from you at the end. You.
You trying to get from the inside, are you?
How old are you guys?
17.
15.
I really watched the game.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything else. I mean, I got a final. I watched.
We've broken a couple of show rules.
Yeah.
We have more junior counselors than we've ever had before.
Game 5.
And we have, I wanna say each year, 2
Yeah.
that are like 16 that we'll bring.
Yeah.
I think they had.
They're always somebody that we know, but we've got, I think, 2 this year that are junior counselors.
The fingers, and that was it.
But they've all been great, the ones that we've had.
Yeah.
I was, I guess that was game 4, sorry, that was when they were at home, and then went back.
Malachi, you're the only one I haven't talked to yet. To give you the whole rundown, you wouldn't have known all the things that we were going through. But we can talk about that another time though.
One of the cool things Marlena does, is she asks, maybe it's on your sheet, your favorite snack or drink. So we try to make that available for you. It's the counselor break room is just loaded with junk food, loaded.
Oh, yeah.
Or health food, if you want it.
There's always something healthy in there. I don't think it lasts till the end of the, I think it goes bad before Friday. Mhm. Yeah, we actually went, I don't know, I only get the secret, we went to camp last week, just to meet with Gary. See if they have any like new things, and they have a whole new dining hall. They've got the old dining hall, and then they have a little hallway now that goes into a brand new one that's got a bunch of windows, it's all white and bright. Got a fireplace,
Beautiful.
so.
Yeah.
We're gonna try meals in there this year and see how it goes. And they're adding private bathrooms on the end of all the cabins. So you know, where it used to be like a side door and then at the very end, another door. There'll be a bathroom there now. That'll be just for counselors. We're not sure if they'll be finished by the time we get to camp because they were working on them. week when we went. But they've got all kinds of updates they got planned. There's always something new they add. Since you've been to camp, they added, the zip line. They don't make you come down anymore. They set up another one, so you zip from this side to this side and then back over on top of the hill.
Oh.
So you don't have to walk up the hill at all.
You have to walk up a bunch of stairs.
You do have to walk up. Every year it was like, I want the breeze of going down, but then they used to have, I don't know if you remember, they used to have hanging rock stacked at the bottom. So you would zip and then they'd slowly put you down, but you'd still be swinging and they'd have to grab your legs as you were swinging to bring you down.
Yep.
It was a bit intense. Yep, they got all that different now, which is really neat. I mean, the pool's the same.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think those are the two biggest things. I didn't hear it, I didn't know what it was.
Oh, we got a brown cow song.
Okay, this is my favorite. And just I hate singing in front of people. And so it makes me really nervous, also introverted, probably more than Wes. I believe you own a guitar, don't you?
I do,
You can sing.
not really.
I hate it, but I'm going to try to be really brave. Every year I sing a little bit more and I started a song last year, I think once. So I'm gonna start the brown cow, Grace. This is my favorite one. We did it when I was a camper and it has not changed. And if you know it, please join me so I don't sing by myself. But it goes, I think the brown cow for the chocolate milk. I think the pig for the bacon on the grill. I think the egg for the chicken and the chicken for the egg. I thank the Lord for my daily bread. And that's the brown cow.
When would you sing that?
Huh?
When would you sing that? When would you sing that?
Before meals.
Before me, okay.
Yeah, we all kind of gather around, do announcements and stuff, and we'll sing, some of the song we did, God is Great song. We'll do the boom, chicka boom, all of that stuff we'll do before meals. It's gonna get everybody up and going.
Dennis pointed out the pictures up above there.
Okay.
That's the kids gathered before a meal on the right, and then obviously canoeing over there on the left, but
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of our staple ones. I don't think that one, as long as I'm here, that one will never go away. My mom said she remembers when we were campers that we'd come home and we'd still be singing that, we after camp. So,
You have a question?
That one song that you usually lead, were we doing that before meals this time around, or?
Oh, the O a day lay?
Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna try to keep that one outdoors. Yeah.
the new dining hall also echoes really bad. I think it'd be worse than it was before.
That song, we sing it and then we say, we can do it louder, and the kids literally just scream. Yeah, they just.
Yeah,
Then
some
we
of
do
the
it.
updates we've made since you've been at camp, some of that stuff we do outside now. Very helpful.
Yeah.
Very helpful. Okay, let's see, what do we have next? All right, field and deal. Okay. If a counselor were to come to you with a concern, so they've got I feel like did something that caused tension, or I feel like something was done unfairly. If they come to you, there are ways that we can respond that are helpful to our co-counselors. One is to focus on growth, yours and theirs. It is difficult to have this conversation with people. So as long as you both know, we're gonna try this, and if it sucks, I'm sorry. As long as you both know, you give each other some grace that goes along with it. But if they're asking something that, say, especially if it's you're older and they're younger, and it's just something that you've learned through, your years of being alive, there's better ways to communicate that to somebody than just like, you'll figure it out when you get older. So we want to make sure that we are talking to the people coming at us in a way that is, how can they build growth? How can we help them improve kind of where they are? If you've been at camp for a long time, you can tell them, oh, when I was a counselor my first year, like this happened. And that's why I've always kind of pushed us, like, maybe we should do it this way. Like, it can be really easy to come across, very non-defensively, non-confrontationally. I think your sister's here. Is that JJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We want to avoid defensiveness. They might say that you specifically did or said something that was upsetting to them. It's just something you did or said. It doesn't mean that you meant to hurt them. It doesn't mean that you meant to offend them. But to know that that's gonna be coming at you. So what kind of attitude do you need to have when somebody comes to you with feedback like that? It's best that we may be open to remember that sometimes we aren't perfect and we are gonna learn through camp experiences. As somebody who's been at camp a long time, there are things that I learned. It took me a long time before I learned not have the cabin vote on anything. I can't tell you how many times I thought I was gonna do that successfully and it did not go well. It took a lot of years before I was like, you know what, we're never gonna do that again. Counselors will decide from now on. So as long as you're open to getting that feedback and knowing that there's gonna be some things that you need to hear from somebody, we approach that conversation in a non-threatening way. So don't take it personally if somebody comes to you. You're a person that most of them you probably have never met before. So it could be just part of your personality. It could be that you didn't intend for it to be that way. But if you're open to people coming to you with that feedback, you're already in a better state of mind to talk about conflict that pops up between you and your cabin mates. It's important that we don't interrupt, let people explain themselves. You're gonna have some people that just blah, 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 and it's okay to let them go, let them go, let them go. And then you can talk about, how do we fix this from here, like moving forward. You don't need to justify why you did what you did. You don't need to over explain yourself. There are some things that they just need to know you heard them. A lot of things you can just say, I'm really glad that you brought that to my attention, and I'll keep that more in mind as we move forward. And if it happens again, please, let me know. You can take it with you if you want to be mad about that later. That's fine. You can process it yourself. We're all learning. And if it ever comes back to me, I'm going to be the one saying, remember when we talked about sometimes we all have things to learn? We're going to have that conversation too, because we all grow. We all grow while we're there. And these little things that happen at camp can spiral. If we don't fix them as quickly as possible, they can just build and build and build. And it might be that it's like 1 out of 4 counselors that has a terrible time. But to me, for counselor recruitment, I don't want anybody to have a terrible time. I don't want one person to feel left out or to feel like they don't have a voice or that they're just like a camper being told what to do. We don't want that either. So having these difficult conversations kind of helps everybody be on good terms throughout the week, and have practice having those difficult conversations that in regular life we get to avoid a lot. We just go home and call our mom and complain about them, or we complain to a coworker, about something that happened. Camp doesn't really give us the opportunity to do those things. We got to be a little more head on about it.
We try a role play one, just you and me?
Sure.
All right, this is impromptu, so I'm putting my mind on this one. I'll think of something ridiculous, but I'll try to do it like you were, before break, we were talking about the I statements and wanting to talk about what happened. All right, so
Are you bringing the concern to me?
I'm offended. Can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure.
Okay, I tried to let this go, but it's been bothering me for like the last 4 minutes.
Just breathe. You can hear it in his voice. Did you feel it?
And did you see it in his face?
I have something I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And already I could feel myself be like, oh.
Yeah, right, you want to defend yourself. I was like, that brown cow song, that is my song. Like, how dare you? Like, I was gonna do that, and then you just took it right away from me, and you were doing like the udders and everything, like, that's mine. Like, why would you do that?
So what I hear you saying, totally pulling out my social worker stuff. So what I hear you saying is that I volunteered to do that song when you had planned to do it. So I kind of stepped on your toes there.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. It is my favorite song as well. I didn't know that you wanted to do that. At the next one though, if you want to, I will step back and let you lead that one, because I know we both love that song. I don't want to take that away from you. I didn't mean to this time. I'm really sorry about that.
okay. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thanks for listening.
No problem.
I mean, I wasn't at all offended by the brown cow song, but I'm trying to think of something ridiculous where you feel slighted or overlooked, and I think you did a great job, but yes, just the fact that somebody's coming at you with some heat, and you're just like, ooh, the natural instinct is to push back and be like, let me put you in your place. Let me tell you
Mhm.
that, hey, this is, not something that you're gonna be able, but instead, she kind of did her little emotional judo and just like, whoa, okay, tell me more. I wanna hear, I hear you saying that you were offended by that, and she validated that she was listening well, great listening skill, like, I hear you saying this, and you wanna listen in such a way that, like, the person who's talking to you can agree to what you listen so well that this is what I hear you saying, and they're just like, yes, you understand me.
Cause if you didn't understand it, they're gonna tell you.
Yeah.
So for that, what I hear you saying is, da, 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 and they go, yeah, no, then we gotta listen some more.
Right,
We
yep.
didn't get it all the first time.
But yeah, and just letting that in, okay, move on. But I think we also, like, you guys are at least 15 years old. I mean, to have the emotional maturity to let stuff go. You know, it's gonna be a week where we're all gonna have to be flexible. If I didn't get to sing the Brown Cow song and I really wanted to, but dang it, I should be able to just move on. And for the sake of the kids, keep the eye, it's not about me. It's about those kids having a safe, fun time. We want to give them the time of their lives. Not focusing so much on what I need or the dynamics of the counselors. It's all being together, focused on fulfilling that mission. Dennis, you had a question?
Yeah, this might be too simplified, but a lot of that could be avoided by just communication. Good communication avoids a lot of the confrontation.
Yeah.
Like if it was your time for the song, maybe there should have been better communication there.
Yeah.
As to when you were
Sure.
gonna sing your song.
Mhm.
Right, yeah.
I think as a counselor in the past, it's really easy to just keep moving with the flow and not stop and talk with your co-counselors about things. Like there's so many opportunities when they're doing an activity that you can step back with your co-counselors and just check in. Say, how's everybody feeling right now? Cause as a counselor that's been in a cabin before, I feel like we never did that until somebody was mad about something. Or if we got, the person in charge coming up being like, well, so-and-so's not happy, and be like, well, I didn't know there was anything wrong. We don't want anyone to have to sit with that. It can be harder if somebody's gonna not say something and build resentment. It is way harder to fix that than it is to just address it in the moment, and we're all uncomfortable talking in ways I feel, or I heard you say, which we don't talk like that very often. It's much easier to have that awkward conversation than to try to build that connection back up after somebody has completely damaged it. Either by something that they did or the way they responded to the way something was done. Any questions? No. Okay. The next thing, we're gonna role play. So y'all are gonna get an opportunity to tell me what you would say to somebody where this has happened. So the first one is you hear a co-counselor agree to something, like to a camper, without talking to anybody else. Let's say they've decided, oh, you guys, we're gonna stay at 15 minutes past bedtime today. You guys earn 15 minutes. So if I'm a counselor, you hear me say that to somebody, and that is not how things happen at camp. Who wants to volunteer how you would address that with me? Ishan?
Well, I'm guessing we're all in the cabin together with the kids, so I'll say, hey, do you two people, or one other person, if it's only one, then we want to leave out, but if it's four of us, kind of like last year, then I'll say, do you two have it, and may you come talk to me real quick? Because I'm guessing at this point, me and the other counselors have, heard this person say that, so I would pull that person to the side and ask them like, who made that decision for all of us? And if they say them, then it's like, okay, well, we clearly can't have that happening tonight. Is there ways that we can go about and get these, like, I guess, kind of take back what you said in that sense? And is there a way that maybe next time we can all come together as a group to discuss and, I guess come up with a decision that all of us likes?
So next time you want me to ask you, what do we do about tonight though? Who's gonna tell them they can't have it now?
I will.
That's a great example of something that does happen. If there's something that gets stated, gets promised. If there's something that gets stated or promised and you gotta backtrack that, it can be an awkward situation, but it's okay if we have to tell campers, I was wrong when I stated da. And in that situation, you can be like, guys, I'm sorry, I said we could stay up for another 15 minutes, but Keyshawn reminded me that Marlena told us that we can't do that. That's against the rules. So I'm sorry. We have to be at our normal time today and you just move on past it. Very, very simple. Yep, taking ownership and saying, I was wrong, totally fine. It's another modeling, a great way of accepting when you've made a mistake. Because we all do it and we're gonna fix it. I'm not letting you let anybody stay up for 15 minutes just because you told them that they could. That would get out of hand real fast. But that's something that's come up before. How about, your co-counselors made a decision without including you because you were on break? So you're upset, how would you address that?
Go with the decision. Don't be upset about it. I was on break. It's a co-counselor for a reason. Because it's co in front of it doesn't make the decision no different. Still a counselor. I was on break, so they made a decision. I go with it.
Perfect way to
I
respond.
think it is.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And it comes up, and if you stop and think about it, if someone else is on break and we had to make a decision and they come back and say, well, you didn't include me. You knew you had to make that decision in the moment. So if you're the person left out, they had to make a decision in the moment and it would have been majority. So if I wasn't included anyway, it would have been whatever they decided and just go with the flow. It's so much easier to go with the flow. Unless they decide to do something that's not safe, just go with the flow. It's okay to let somebody like Kira's new, she's a junior counselor. If she decides something and I'm like, I have an idea, she has an idea, her idea will work too. Let's go with her idea and see what happens. That empowers her to also own that leadership as well. Great example of being able to just move on and let things go, to encourage another person. It can be so beautiful, these little moments. Let's see, a co-counselor thinks you're favoring a camper and not applying behavior expectations consistently. So you got a little favorite camper out there, and maybe you're not giving them warnings when they should be, and somebody's coming to you and approaching you about that. How would you respond?
I think sometimes, we don't aware, not aware that maybe we have favorites or just more, and I feel like some kids are just more drawn to you. And so, if someone would come to me and say that, obviously I'm like, oh, I wasn't aware that I was, favoring little Johnny more, I didn't really realize again, just great kid, just funny kid, so I didn't realize, but I would pay more attention because all the campers deserve, the same type of energy. That's what I'm saying.
It'd be a great response.
And I know that I've observed over the years that there are just some campers that are drawn to certain counselors, and it's just a personality thing too. And you could say, I would imagine that, well, Johnny just required a little more attention or my attention, and I try not to have favorites, but I don't want to push them away either.
Yeah.
It can be hard to accept that you are favoring somebody, but we do it without knowing that we do it. And it's okay if you do think, someone's telling you, I don't think you're giving consequences the way that we should for that one. It's okay to what consequence do you think would be appropriate right now? Because if I've missed it, it's okay for you to tell me and we can fix it. It just keeps it open. The kid gets what they need. You still get to have that loving relationship with them. You're more aware, and you have someone else is giving you some feedback in a polite, non-threatening way.
If that happens, would it be best for the counselor that's doing the favoring to try to talk with the camper and correct it, or with the two co-counselors together be a better way and minimize the impact on the town camper?
I think that would depend on what you feel comfortable doing. If it was me and someone brought it to my attention, I don't have a problem telling that kiddo, hey, you've done some things today that I probably should have given you warnings on. So just so you know, moving forward, you're gonna get the same consequence, and I'm gonna flat out tell you, this is your warning, that. I don't mind having that conversation with kids. Usually, if you just decide moving forward, you're gonna make sure and keep yourself in check, you don't have to say anything to them. It'll work itself out too.
For these next couple, what if we had them pair off and they just kind of talked about
Sure.
what they think their answer would be? Just do two, 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 two. It works out. Yep.
Let's do the example of, a co-counselor brought it to your attention that it appears you are flirting with another staff member.
That never happens.
Pair off. And tell them what you would say. Pick who wants to be the one that's flirting.
No, no. I'm looking at time. What?
As I go, we can certainly see when learning. Right, notice you went for a walk. I mean, well, that's true. I didn't bring this to that time. I guess I'm. Already so nice and here, so long and so many angles. I can't think of any. I'm saying, yeah, I think I could be really good friends with females. Everybody's like that, but I am. I would ask you. I mean, in anything I'm saying. So you have going to our. Right. There's too much going on. You would just like. I mean, different environments. Yeah. The whole.
I will hang out with them. Yeah.
Anybody, you can volunteer your partner here. Anybody feel like they had someone had a particularly good answer to this? You could say, hey, you should share. You did? Dennis, you want to share yours?
I said, well, we were talking about she was being overly friendly with another counselor. And I was bringing up the point that sometimes personalities seem to indicate that. Like I could be good friends with females easily. And sometimes people would think that I'm flirting with a female. So basically, thank you for bringing that to my attention. And that I'll change my way of doing things more or less. Because the kids pick up on everything you said.
Yes, they do.
Yep, that's good.
I don't want them to get carried away with that one.
It's always great when the campers don't even know that like Wes and his wife are at camp at the same time. Like if they don't know that you're married, you're doing a beautiful job. But when we hear it, the campers will be like, oh, did you know that she has a boyfriend? Like, we hear all about it and it's like, oh, what has happened, whether it's intentional or not intentional, they see things and they put two and two together and we just have to make sure that we're at camp for the right reasons and aren't creating the optical illusion that there is something that is going on. Because really, if you're at camp for that, you're at camp for the wrong reason. Don't come looking for a partner. Yeah, you'll make great friendships, but keep the romantic stuff for later.
Yeah. How about the last one? And then we can move on from maybe another, they can discuss it
Yeah,
together.
this is a good one to talk together about. So we talked about this at our Monday training about how we all hold kids accountable. We all, hold them to the rules and expectations. So if you feel another counselor is being seen as the good cop or the fun counselor, and you're being seen as the opposite of that, how would you address that with your counselors?
Go ahead, you can talk together and we'll come together.
You just got
Yeah.
I got another favor.
Yeah.
I really.
These are the same as the bad cop, he said. Yeah.
I'm just trying to.
Enforces the same rules.
As long as we both understand that this guidelines should say someone standards.
In some respects.
Like, you know, maybe I'm not.
Sitting on your time.
But you're right about home.
If I was Heavy lifting. I was totally fine edge.
I said it, they listen, they get in.
Well, let's come back together. You wanna volunteer? You're a person, somebody have a really good answer to this? Go ahead.
Well, JK said just now, she was at this camp just now, and there was like two counselors, and there was a good cop and the bad cop.
Mhm.
And the counselor, of course, you
Yeah.
know, and they worked together with each other. And so, and they knew that they was gonna be labeled as the good cop and the bad cop. Because we had one that did all the rules and the other one that did all the fun things, but it was planned that way. So they worked together as counselors to be, like, okay, you do all the rules and we're gonna make sure that make sure they get all the showers and all that, everything done, and so it worked out that way. So that's what she said.
It is possible that can work. We try to avoid that for the most part at LUM camp.
Yeah.
Where we want kind of everybody to be just a cop, where you're, you know, you are fun and you're providing safety and direction, but you're also enforcing the rules, you know, and if it's agreed upon, like I'm gonna be the bad cop in this situation, or, you know, I'm gonna bring the consequence in this situation, that's fine, but you don't want that to be the same pattern all week long. It can be really tiring. Go ahead, Ty.
When we were discussing it, we were saying like, you know, obviously, just like in a dynamic at home, like, you know, mom and a dad, one person, you know, the mom looks nice, dad looks like the enforcer. And so we said like that, just keeping that communication, if he feels like he's looked at as, you know, the bad cop or the
Mhm.
whatever, and I'm looked at more as like the fun one. As long as we know like what the rules are, and I would be like, hey, I'm so sorry that you feel that way. Next time we need to give out warnings to the group. I can give out the warning this time. That way, you know, you don't look like you're such, you know, this mean enforcer. So our campers know that we work together.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
If you're the one that inadvertently gets to be made into the bad cop and you didn't choose that, the week could be very unfun for you. And it's not fair. We want everybody to have a good time. We want everybody to show those leadership skills, not just, you know, the moms and dads that have raised children before. Like, we want them to enjoy it too. Sometimes they want to, you know, have a good time and play in the pool, and, you know, it's okay for all of us to do that, but we have to balance both.
Think we're time for another song.
Excellent. All right. This song.
Oh.
We've done this since I was a camper. My like little bun is falling out over here, so I'm sorry if it looks wonky.
It's camp like, you're fine.
Yeah. So, this one, we come up with funny things, to fill in at camp, but it starts off with this. Please join me if you know the song. Your mama don't wear no socks, a ding dong. I saw when she took them off, a ding dong. She threw them in a boat, a ding dong. That boat refused to float, a ding dong, 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 a ding dong, 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 a ding dong. And then you repeat, your mama don't wear no socks. And you go up to kids and you let them fill in the rhyme. And some of the ones they come up with don't rhyme, they're not real funny, but they're funny because they're not funny. So we could do, your mama don't wear no socks, a ding dong. I saw when she took them off, a ding dong. She threw them in the air, now Wes has no hair. And then you go back to a ding dong, 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 a ding dong. And you just keep repeating those first two with all of these examples. These are ones we say all the time at camp. We threw them in the sky, Superman refused to fly. She threw them in a tree, the dogs refused to pee. She threw them in my Coke, took a sip, nearly croaked. I liked that one. She threw them at the sun, made the sun call 911. You give it to kids and they come up with sometimes genius ones. We are a little short on time though. I was gonna give you guys paper to come up with some of your own that we could throw in this year. Cause we do a lot of the same ones. Wes's hair is brought up every single year.
It's never come back. My hair's never come back. But
But I
yeah,
think we're at like 3:48
Yeah.
already, so maybe at our
next one we can do it.
Monday
Yeah,
camp, you want to come up with it.
yeah.
If you will grab your paper with your name on it, if you haven't finished it yet, that's okay. We're at the end of our training, so I want you to just write somewhere on your paper how you feel you are right now as far as communicating with your counselors, working as a team. Do you feel like you need more practice? Do you feel like you could figure it out in a moment? Or you got this? You just write 1, 2, or 3 on your paper and I'll know what it's for.
Should we do anything else under that?
You can put it there if you want. But kind of lets us know what we can focus on more at the July 10th training and at our Monday training that everybody comes to.
Yeah.
Who did the longest songs class? Joe and the Blind Factory.
We could save it for later too if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Another camp favorite,
Mhm.
Joe and the Button Factory.
Yeah, that one got taught to us a couple of years. I think it's a
Uh-huh.
classic now. Maybe we'll save that one. What
We
do you
can
think,
save
just
that
in the
one.
interest of time?
Yeah, stand up and do a lot of moving around with that one too.
It's pretty funny. All right. Well, thank you for taking time out of a beautiful Saturday here in June. I'm really encouraged. I feel like we got the right people in the room. I noticed that when I said, all right, turn to your neighbor and talk. And it was just like, boom, you guys are ready. Immediately talking, engaging. You guys have been very attentive. I'm super excited for this year of camp. I think the water theme is great. We got Marlena back for, I don't know, her 9th or something year of leaving camp,
So, whatever 2018 till now, however many years.
whatever that is.
It'll be
My
my
math isn't right, but it,
24th LUM camp though.
24th LUM camp.
Yep.
So we got a veteran who's really helping us figure things out. Camp facilities are better than ever. We have more counselors than ever that are signed up. We have additional people that are willing to help us, especially in the parts of the camp that are often the squirreliest kid activity, getting them to bed or keeping them contained at the meals. I think it's just gonna be an awesome week, so pray for good weather. Yeah, 80s and sunny would be ideal, in my opinion, so. If you have questions, you've been getting an email from Marlena. I am happy to talk with you or whatever. I think we're pretty well full on counselors, like if you know of somebody else that's thinking about it, they need to get in right away. But it's we're sitting around 32 counselors at this point, not counting the Hanging Rock staff that'll be with us. That should be 4 counselors per cabin for the very most part. So that's wonderful. Our next session. Let's see. Yes, here we go. Thanks for having that ready.
Yep.
Thursday, July 10th, we'll do a couple of hours. We'll probably provide some pizza or something, so you don't have to worry about supper that night. I'll have an alternate, if you don't like pizza or can't eat pizza for some reason, we'll have alternate to that. Every year, we have a Thursday night counselor meeting, just a 1-hour meeting to kind of really get to know each other and go over some more basics. And then our first day will be Monday, July 28th. That's the week of LUM camp. We'd like everybody to come. In years past, I said, oh, you can meet us out at LUM camp at 1 p.m. if you need to. We'd like everyone to come at 10:30 this year. Everybody go to the lunch together. As even at lunch, we'll divide you into your cabins a little bit. It won't be exclusive to your cabin, but like you to start interacting with your counselors, even then, get to know them. And it'll be a different dynamic where you can have a meal together without trying to take care of 10 kids and all of their needs for milk and juice and everything else. So that's the plan for the first day. Then we'll drive out to LUM camp together in the LUM buses, and it's gonna be a great week. So
The Thursday counselor meeting, that's where you're gonna tell me your preferences for age group that you want and what you want in the counselor room, what snack and what drink. So come to that. We could probably do a Zoom version if you want to Zoom in, if you can't be here in person. But that's biggest reason to come that day.
So the 10th is optional.
Yep,
and
10th is optional.
24th and the 28th.
28th, yep.
Okay.
At the July 10th one, we've been kind of revamping our behavior discipline system. And so depending on where we get with that, July 10th might be more of looking at that system and how it'll work. If that's not ready yet, we'll do more communication and getting, working as a team kind of stuff as well. And kind of hitting on some of the other things that could come up during camp that we need to address.
Did you say on the, July 28th, we're meeting, we're now here
Here,
and we're driving?
we'll go to lunch south of town, usually Walt's other pub is where we've gone.
So are we driving our car up?
You
if you
can,
want to,
Okay, we can trail the bus.
yeah,
yeah.
you can. Mhm. But we would like you to be here. We all load the buses and then drive out.
It's been a little while since I went. but-
Sure, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, we switched up, the meals. We go to Walt's and they do a little lunch menu for us. It's worked out really well
Mhm.
the last several years. But yeah, if you wanna leave your car here, LUM is open all that whole week of camp. It'll just be here overnight. We've done it in the past. There's never been any issues. Because we have buses that we take, we fill up with camp supplies, your luggage, if you're not driving to camp and you just ride with us. So that's always an option too. And have somebody just drop you off here if you want. But we can talk about more about that at the counselor meeting.
Exactly 1 month away, this is the 28th of June, 28th of July, we will be hitting it. So, great.
Yes, sir.
Last year, there was some kind of review. We had to fill out a form. I forget, it was a check of some kind. I've not seen that. Are we not doing that again this year?
What do you mean?
It was like a personnel review.
Oh, that I turned into those little things. Yes, so last year I did a form asking people about themselves and I made these little slides that I put on the,
No,
parent.
this was a review
Oh.
that you sent out.
After camp?
No, it was before.
I think it's the same thing. I
Okay.
used that information to kind of make a little slide about you and like you would give me a photo of yourself and I put you on there and I shared it to the parent Facebook page so they can get to know the counselors before camp happens. That's what I did with most of that information.
Okay, that was the one where I put a camp name on.
You
And I
did.
was the only one that did that.
And I
No,
still
this
think you
was
should
like-
go buy it.
I know, but nobody else did, so I didn't wanna mark myself as the odd person out. No, this was like a police review,
Oh, background check.
background.
Background check.
Dredge it, title of it.
Yeah, sorry. You'll end up getting an email from me that's, you just put your information in and it runs a background check through our insurance company. Nobody's listed on their application that they like have a felony or have abused children and stuff like that. So I think everybody will be fine, but we will be doing
You will
that
be doing
again.
that, okay.
Yep. Wait until we get all of Hanging Rock staff names done, so I can send everything to our person, so we can just run everybody's at the same time. So that'll come, but I'll send you emails letting you know when it's gonna be there.
Because I think when I got mine, I called in to check, is this part of the camp?
Oh, yeah.
Review? Yeah,
Didn't
I
want
was
it to be
uncertain what,
Yeah.
out of the clear blue, so. yeah.
Yep, good.
Yep,
Yeah,
I'll let
because
you know
there's
ahead of
personal
time it's coming.
information on it.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. You guys are free to go. Thank you so much. We'll see you July 10th.
What do you want?
You can just set them on your chair, I can get them.